Shauna, and welcome to the Adelaide Cottage podcast. If this is your first time joining me, thank you so much for checking out the podcast. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for spending your time with me. This is a podcast about all kinds of craftiness, mostly knitting, sewing, quilting, and now soap making, and a little bit of crochet even today. So welcome again. Today I feel like I have a lot to show you. I haven't podcasted in a couple of weeks, and I've been very busy making things, and a couple of fun things have gone on in my personal life, which I'll get to later on for those of you who aren't interested. So yeah, I'll talk about that later, but I have so much stuff in front of me, so I'm going to try my best to stay organized, and yeah. So, if you would like to find me on Instagram or Ravelry, I think that's it. It's Adelaide Cottage, spelled the same way as the podcast. There's also a group in Ravelry called Adelaide Cottage where you can join to participate in knit-alongs and win prizes and just chat with other knitters and crocheters. So that's super exciting. So definitely join if you haven't already. I will link the group underneath in the down bar, underneath the video, there will be a link to the Ravelry group so that you can join. And all of the show notes will be there as well in the Ravelry group for each episode. So I'm going to talk about my knit-alongs first. There's one that's coming to an end very soon. On the 31st is the last day. Today's the 27th of May. And that one is the Trailing Ivy shawl. There's only a couple days left, like I said, by Alana Dacos. Beautiful shawl pattern. There is a prize for that winner. One of these two project bags they'll get to pick. And these were made by the beautiful Autumn, who is Cottington on Ravelry and Instagram. So thank you very much, Autumn. You are awesome, very well made, and so very sweet for you to donate those to the podcast. The second knit and crochet along, it's for both crafts, is called the Stitching for a Cause. It starts June 1st and goes all the way through December 1st, I'm almost positive. But that is in the Ravelry group. There's a tab for that, knit and crochet along, and you can see all the details there. The idea of this one, this is very near and dear to my heart. The idea is to knit or crochet an item, and the last time I said that ornaments aren't allowed, but they are allowed. Knit or crochet an item for someone who has suffered from cancer and beat it, or somebody who lost their life to cancer. You can knit something for one of their survivors, any family member, any caregiver. Knit something for yourself in remembrance of that person. And like I said, if they've ever gone through cancer or they're getting treatment right now, knit something for them that will make them happy, whether it's an ornament, a bluebird of happiness, a hat for a chemo patient maybe, socks, a prayer shawl, a little Afghan. Here comes Peanut, my new little kitty. There he is. Say hi to everyone. Say hi. Yeah, we adopted him from the SPCA not too long ago, and he is just a complete joy. He's an inside cat, a domestic indoor cat, but we got him a little harness and leash to bring him in the yard because he's trying to get my water. He likes pouncing at the little mosquitoes and flies, so he really enjoyed that. He wasn't too sure about it at first, but What are you doing? You're all over the place. So yeah, knit or crochet something, and it should be in the designated ribbon, cancer awareness ribbon for that type of cancer. There are exceptions if the person you're knitting something for does not like that color, or it's a man and the color is girly, or vice versa. Just explain that in your post. So the details are all in my Ravelry group under the Stitching for a Cause chatter thread. And there's some really wonderful prizes for that one. So definitely join. It's a long knit or crochet along, and I think it's for a really good cause. You can use any yarn, but I'm also dyeing up colorways, tonal colorways in each of the most common cancer types for those ribbons. And I also am making project bags, which I just shipped out a big load of yarn and bags to people, and I'm donating 25% of the item's cost or price to the American Cancer Society for research. So that's super nice. And I'm going to do that at the end of the knit or crochet along so that I could donate the whole sum of money all at once. So I'm keeping very close track, and I'm very excited. I'll let everyone know what we raised. So it's kind of like a fundraiser, fun knit along, something very meaningful, and can put a smile on somebody's face that's going through a really hard time. So there will be more prizes, but just to show you a couple, I purchased an extra copy of this Interpretations Volume 3 by Johi Locatelli and Vera Velamaki. I think I'm saying it wrong, but I love just about every single pattern in this book, and a few podcasters have shown some of their the items that they're knitting from this. I know Maria Manska of the Stitched in Sweden podcast is knitting a really sweet Henley, which I really want to knit. Let me see if I can find it really quickly for you. Let's see here. The Timeless Henley, here it is. Peanut, I might have to let you go. I'm sorry, sweetie. Isn't that pretty? So that will be a prize. That's kind of a bigger prize. And then I also have a Downton Abbey tea assortment set. It's kind of like a tester, so you can try all the different flavors. There's Grantham Breakfast Blend Black Tea, Bates Brambleberry Black Tea, Mrs. Patmore's Pudding Black Tea, which I bought a whole canister of and love it. There's Downton Christmas Black Tea, English Rose Herb Tea, and Lady Cora's Evening Herb Tea. And then with that will also be these really sweet stitch markers that I put together. I showed them in more detail on my last podcast, but it's basically a tea set. Cute little teacups and saucers and a teapot. So yes, and I will be adding to the prizes as time goes along. If I get any donations, that would be amazing. And yeah, that is my water. It is super, super hot outside. It's in the 80s and humid. And I feel like our air conditioner will not keep up. Like it can't catch up. So I apologize if I'm a little bit shiny or glossy today. I'm trying to stay cool. I made myself a cup of hot coffee, but it was just too hot to drink it. Peanut is going to eat the microphone cord. Hey! No, you can't do that. They won't be able to hear. All right, what should I talk about next? So those are the two knit and crochet alongs. One of my works in progress, which I didn't get to work on this week. It's my own knit along, and I didn't even work on this week, but I just want to show you what it looks like for those of you wondering. This is the beginning of the Trailing Ivy shawl. I'm using the Woolen Rabbits yarn in the Daddy Steelbucks colorway. And I'm using two strands held together for this. Or I'm sorry, I'm alternating every 2 rows. Excuse me. Because the 2 skeins, which were the same colorway, were very different from each other. So, but I really love the way it's knitting up. And for that, I'm using my Carbon's interchangeables. No. Peanut is still a kitten and is very energetic and into everything. He wants to bite on everything. Okay, the second one is in my lovely Alex Collins bag. Alex, my project is growing out of it. Now he's biting my taper candle that's in my grandma's candle holder. Hey, you are mischief. You know that? Come here. Okay, you stay here on this side. And I got so much done on this. This is so fun to knit. I'm using Madeline Tosh. Where is my ball band? Here it is. Madeline Tosh Twist Light in the Opaline colorway. It's 75% merino wool, 25% nylon. It's a fingering weight yarn, and I am in love with the colorway. So I bought 3 skeins of it, and this is what I have left of the first. So I'm just about done with it, and then I caked up the second one. It's a really pretty purpley blue mauve, mauve, if you will, gray taupe. Love it. So yeah, let me put this away before the cat gets it. He's trying to get my knitting needle. Okay, and I'm using my Chaogu US size 5, which is 3.75 millimeter interchangeables, which I adore. And this is what I have. So this is the back of it. And on this, I tied off the sleeves here until I knit to the bottom, and then I will pick the sleeves up and make them long. And this is the front. It looks really tiny right now, but when it's blacked out, I think it'll be a perfect size. I tried it on and it fits so far. This front, for those of you who don't know, around the neckline and down the sides here, will have ribbing, which I'll do in the same color. So it'll just be an open cardigan with long sleeves. And I'm going to make it a little bit longer than the pattern calls for because I prefer a longer sweaters. So yes, definitely have been knitting on this the most because it's just a very relaxing, memorizable knitting pattern. It's just a lot of, once you're past the sleeves, or the armholes I should say, it's a lot of stockinette stitch. So perfect for when you're watching TV or in the car. I have been enjoying The Voice, which I don't know if a lot of you watch it, but my husband and I like to watch it together. American Idol was kind of the talent competition a few years back, but I stopped watching it because I didn't really enjoy the tryouts. I felt like everyone was there just to be on TV, and they acted so goofy, and it just got old after a while. But the winner of American Idol, Carrie Underwood from a few years ago, I went to her concert on Thursday evening with my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, my sister-in-law's kids, my aunt, And my other sister-in-law was there, but she sat in a different section with her mom, who was visiting from Brazil, which was amazing. And that concert was incredible. I love Carrie Underwood. But The Voice, no spoilers. I still don't know who the winner is. They announced it on Tuesday, but I still have to watch the episode. But everyone comes into that competition with really good talent, so it's definitely a great show to watch. Now Peanut's on my show notes. You can probably see his very big ears that he has to grow into. This episode seems to be all around the cat, huh? Yeah, but he's so cute, and he wants to hang out with us. He loves yarn just as much as we do. Okay, so the next work in progress is my Cozy Memories blanket. And this one is being housed in my tote bag from Molly of a Homespun House. And I have one of her cute little brooches on here, a teacup that she sent me with a past order. And then I have all my minis in this really lovely bag from Christina, who is Winter Stitches on Ravelry and Instagram. She won a prize through the Fluffy Fibers podcast for a sew-along, the cute dress sew-along, and I donated a project bag and a sewing pattern as one of the prizes, so she won that and wanted to send me something to say thank you. So she made me this adorable boxy project bag, and I am completely in love with it. It is so well made. She should totally open an Etsy shop. Or maybe she just enjoys knitting, sewing for friends and family, which is great too. But this is where I keep all my minis that are kind of in the running to be knit into my Cozy Memories blanket. So I have a few of them caked up in here. And yeah, it's adorable. It's got a cute little handle here, a pull tab on the other side, and she made me an even more adorable matching little Notions pouch. How cute is that? Oh my gosh. So I keep my center stitch marker in here, which is perfect because I can never find it in, my big tote. So it's adorable, but it will also fit other Notions as well. All right, onto the blanket. What are you doing? So I put quite a few squares on. This is what I have done. I started this recently, you guys, so I know it's small, but these squares kind of take a while. This was my first square. Oh boy. No, you cannot have that. I might have to put him in another room. We'll see how this works. Hey. So since the last time, I put in this square, which is from a Homespun House. When I bought this tote bag from her, from Molly, it came with 10 mini skeins, so a lot of my squares are from that. Let's see, this one is from her as well. And then I did this one, which is from Christina, who made me the little bag. She also sent me some really nice minis. This one I am in love with. This is Knit Picks Hawthorne fingering. It's a not tonal. I think it's actually a variegated yarn in the Cobb Hill colorway. So it's mauve, plum, taupe, all my favorite colors. So yeah, I think that's 3-4 squares I put in. Oh no, I put in this one as well, I think. So I'm kind of all over the place with this, but it's getting there. It's fun to work on. And for that, I'm using Carbon's straights, US size 2, which is 2.75 millimeters. I really like the straights for this blanket. I started knitting this blanket with these. I never tried circulars. I don't know, it just has an old-fashioned knitting feel to it before they came out with circular needles, I guess. But they're very easy to work with. And I do have some ends to weave in. And then for those of you who don't know, I have been keeping kind of like a cozy memory blanket journal and taking a little piece of each type of yarn that I received from people or that I have knit into my blanket basically. And I tape it in here with cute washi tape and write what kind of yarn it is and where I got it, the colorway. So, yes, that's fun. We'll see how long I keep doing this. It seems to be an automatic thing when I'm done with a few squares, you know, in the same sitting, if you will. I'll just automatically cut a little scrap of yarn and tape it in here. I may not write everything next to it right away, but at least it's in here and I will remember for the next time. So that's Cozy Memories. So ice water is my favorite thing to drink other than sweet tea. My mom used to make the best sweet tea when I was growing up. It was the freshly brewed kind that they drink down south in the US a lot. She would always have a big pitcher or pot of water with tea bags in it and a little bit of sugar, and she would put it in the windowsill because we lived in the city of Buffalo when I grew up, and there was not anywhere to put it outside that it would stay safe. So she put it in the windowsill to heat up in the sun, and it made the best tea ever. That is seriously my favorite thing to drink. I don't really like drinking powdered iced tea, like the Lipton powder. I prefer the Lipton tea bags in the water with just a little. I don't like it too sweet either. She just put a little bit of sugar in it just to sweeten it a little bit, and it was like cold tea. And that's my favorite. It's still my favorite. I love it, love it, love it. I went to a restaurant not too long ago and asked for sweet tea, and they gave me that not freshly brewed sweet tea, and that's not good to me. I digress. Okay, Cozy Memories blanket. I was working on it the other night, and my husband, Jason, says, "Why don't you finish your other blanket you're working on?" And I'm like, "What other blanket? What are you talking about?" And he goes, "You know, that one that you have all those circles done for, that you've been working on for like 4 years?" He was talking about my crocheted granny square blanket. So I learned how to crochet before I learned how to knit. I taught myself from a book and from YouTube, and I started this blanket. I made probably 200 circles, and each circle had 3 different colors in it. The last step is to crochet them all together with whatever color yarn you want to go around each one. I finished making the circles, and then everything happened and I learned how to knit. So it sat there in a basket and has just been sitting there. And he's like, "You should really finish it so we can use it." And why not? I have the white yarn that I want to crochet around each circle. I started to crochet some together. I showed it in one of my first couple of horrible podcast episodes. I'm sorry to those of you who have watched those. They were, Obviously, I was new to podcasting, but the lighting was horrible. I was super awkward. I probably am still awkward. I'm sorry. I just want to talk about my knitting with you because nobody else really cares as much as you might. My husband pretends to care, but I know that you do. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to take that out. Crocheting is so much quicker than knitting. I can probably whip this Afghan up in no time. And that's what happened. I didn't finish it, but over the last 4 or 5 days, I got quite a bit done. So this is a mess. I have one of Martha, who has Tuft Woolens sock soaps. I have her vanilla almond in here that I completely forgot I had until I opened this bag and got a whiff of it. It's delicious smelling. So I have tons of circles in here that I had completed. And then I had a whole nother Ziploc bag full. And then the ones that I crocheted into here. So on my first couple of episodes, I showed, I think I had like 9 circles crocheted in. And over the last few days, I did all of this. Do you see how much faster it is than my Cozy Memories blanket? The stitches are just a lot bigger and it's thicker yarn, so it goes a lot faster. I really, really like it. The idea was I really wanted a lot of color. I'm usually one of those people that play it safe with color. I like very muted shades of the different colors and not a lot of colors clashing together, but I really wanted to make this colorful. Now that I look at it, it's missing some of my favorite colors. It's missing pinks, it's missing reds, it's missing mauves. There is taupe and purple in here. Yellow, there is yellow and peach. It's just missing those pinky reddish tones, I think, but there's no deep orange. There's like a peach color, but that's about it. But anyhow, the circles, it's basically chain stitches, like singles, and then it goes to doubles and then triples and then quadruples around the white edge. So I think this is going to be super pretty blocked out. See if I could stretch. I really like the way these separate from each other. Oh, peanut. So I think it'll block nicely. For all of these circles except the yellow color, I use Cascade 220 Superwash, which is a 100% superwash merino. And same thing for the white. The yellow color is Ella Ray. And honestly, I do not like it. I didn't like it from the start. It was very splitty and a lot more dry. And I don't think I have the label with me. I'm almost positive it was a superwash merino as well. No, I don't have it. But yeah, yesterday we went to pick up our pop-up camper. We purchased a camper this year. We enjoy camping more than I can even describe to you. My husband grew up doing it with his parents, and those are some of his best memories as a child. And I started camping with him when we had kids, and I love it. I love being in nature. Can't bite the microphone cord. I love the sound of the birds and the trees and the owls, and sitting by a campfire. That smell is incredible to me. And we have been sleeping in a tent every time we go. But now that I have my my neck injury, I can't sleep on an air mattress anymore. So we got a really great deal on a pop-up camper. It pulls out so that you have 2 king-size beds, which is perfect so that Aiden and Evan can sleep in one, and then Jason and I can sleep in the other. And it's used, but we got a better deal that way and more options inside of it. So long story short, we took a long ride to go pick it up yesterday, and I got 12 squares done in a little over 2 hours. So that's exciting. And I really enjoy crocheting. It's definitely a beautiful craft. And I can see more crochet projects in my future. I know a lot of knitting podcasters and knitters on Instagram are starting to crochet a bit more now, which is super fun. So for that, I'm so unprepared today, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm using a size 4 hook. Size 4 hook by Clover. I just picked this up at Joann Fabrics, but it has a really nice grip to it. It's like a plastic grip. And I used to use a metal one. I think this is just like one of the Susan Bates ones, but this hurt my hand. And so this time when I decided to pick this up again, I was like, you know what? I'm spending $8 and I'm getting a new hook. So I definitely enjoy using this one more. Very soft grip it has. And again, that's by Clover. Let's see. So it was $7.99, and then I used my 40% off coupon at Joann Fabrics. Good deal, guys, huh? So that's my granny square. That'll be nice to use when it gets cooler in the fall. I organized my craft space, like, thoroughly. I have a lot of fabric that I need to use up. I have been doing some quilting. I have my soap to show you because I did some soap making a few weeks ago, and the soap had to sit for about 3 weeks to cure, so that all the waters from inside evaporate. And you guys, this is wool wash, but I plan to make some body soaps. But you can definitely use this on your hands. I just think it might be a little, the lanolin gives it a little bit of an oily feel, but you kind of need that for wool wash. It smells glorious. That's all I've got to say. Whatever secret formula I splashed together in here smells amazing to me. Luckily, I wrote it down so I can repeat it. I don't even know what to call it. I don't know what it smells like. It's just, oh my gosh. Even my husband said it when he walked in the room when it was sitting out. He's like, that smells so good. So I'll have to think of a name for it, but definitely came out amazing. They're no longer soft. They're hard like a bar of soap should be. I just have to cut them more even. So now that I know that they came out, I'm going to try it on some wool. Make sure that it doesn't come out too greasy, and then I'll whip up another batch. And then I'll probably right away do some body bars to use in the shower and things. So I was talking to Andy from Andre Sue Knits, and she is also making soap, and she's been making hand soaps in all different scents, and she posted it on Instagram, so we were kind of having a conversation about it. Excuse me. And she let hers cure for like 1 or 2 days, and I was letting mine cure for 3 weeks. but I think it's because of the lanolin content. The soap making book that I use is Soap Crafting by Anne-Marie Fiola, the Soap Queen. She has her own blog and website. So this is very informative. It gives you good base knowledge about soap making and, a lot of really nice recipes in here. These will make perfect gifts for people if you decide to start making soap for Christmas or whatever holidays you celebrate, for birthdays. There's summer scents in here. There's warmer scents. You can add colorants if you want to. I didn't add any color to this. This is just the way it came out. It's kind of like a chocolate brown color. But yes, I kind of used her base recipe, and she didn't have any lanolin recipes in here, so I kind of took what she had and what I found online and kind of mixed my own thing together to see if it would work, and it worked, and I'm so excited. So after I was successful with my first soap making experience, I purchased her Pure Soap Making, How to Create Nourishing Natural Skincare Soaps. So this is her newer book, using all natural ingredients. And to be honest with you, I've only glanced at it. I just got it a few days ago, so I'm going to have to sit down with some tea and browse through it some more. But I'm super excited about it. I mentioned before my husband made me a mold, so I think I'm going to have him make me one more so that I can have a couple things going at once. And yeah, that's exciting. So you can probably find these in my Etsy shop in the next few weeks, I'm hoping. I think that will be fun. I organized my embroidery stuff because now that we have a camper, I would like to hang a few things inside of there. So Joann Fabrics had these craft caddies for sale, on sale, I should say. These gray ones, and there are so many compartments in them, it's ridiculous. So what did I pay for it? On sale with my coupon, I think I paid $12. And I have all my embroidery stuff in here. So I have my hoops. This is one that I'm going to do a camping themed something on there. I have some of my Aida fabric, extra hoops. I have felt back here. I have my embroidery stand, or pattern holder, I should say, from Knitter's Pride. This is still my teacup, tea time pattern, but this stands up on its own, and there's magnets and this little bar so you can kind of keep track of what row you're on. So there's that, and then on this side there's a perfect place to keep all of the extra threads. It's literally the perfect size. So I keep all the extra ones in there that I haven't wound onto the spools yet. Whatever project I'm currently working on, which is the tea time thing right now, I wind them onto the spools and number them with, DMC has numbers that you can purchase, number stickers, and I number them, and then I have them all in one place for each project. And then in the front pocket, I have my pretty embroidery scissors and my needle case. So I did that. What else did I do? I organized all my minis. I organized my yarn stash, the shelves. I kind of reorganized everything. So sock yarns are in one place, cotton yarns are in another, my bear yarn to dye is in another place. I organized all my quilting things, all my quilting fabrics, all my regular fabrics. It it felt so good to do that, to just get everything neat and organized and folded. And I picked out my next sewing project. I did some quilting, which I'll show you in a minute. I purchased some more fabric to make quilts for people for Christmas. I'll show you that. Before I get into quilting, I'm going to show you a little bit of sewing. The fabric I picked out for my next bags will be a pink lemonade theme, and these will be in the shop soon, I hope. I got this lovely fabric. I have a pink lemonade colorway, which I love, and it seems to be pretty popular, and I'm thinking to pair it with one of these small drawstring bags. So this is the fabric. Adorable, right? And then I also have this. It's kind of like a taupe background. And then pink and yellow lemons. And I had some pink ribbon. I'm not really sure if I'm going to put this along where the contrasting bottom will be. I'll kind of hold it up and see while I'm sewing if I like it. And then each one will come with one of these adorable little lemon. I'll make them into stitch markers. So you'll get one stitch marker with the bag, and then if I decide to add the yarn to that, the pink lemonade colorway, we will do that. So I thought that was fun and summery, don't you think? And then on my latest trip to Joann Fabrics, I picked up this really sweet fabric. It reminds me of old-fashioned wallpaper. The flowers and the birds, the colors. And there's little X's on here that remind me of cross-stitching. And then this was just a funny one. It says, creativity is messy and I am very creative. I thought that would be fun for a project bag. And then this one I thought was really sweet, and I really like the colors. It says, stop and consider God's wonders. Walk in God's beauty and love. Ever since I had cancer, I enjoy these types of verses and sayings more than I ever have. It kind of rebuilt my faith more than it was already, and it's more meaningful to me to read things like this. So I got that one. And I picked up a few sewing patterns that were on sale. So hoping to make a few more summer dresses. I got this McCall's pattern, which is 6741, and I really like the high collared one, which is letter C here. And there are pockets. Who doesn't love a dress with pockets? Let's see, how much was this? The regular retail price, $18.95, and the McCall's patterns were $1.99, I believe. This one is a butterick pattern. I actually like the dress that the model's wearing here. It also has pockets. And then the back is this like crisscross back with a little bit of an opening, which I thought was really sweet. And then the last one, I like three dresses. No, probably two. I like A and C. I don't really like the one that the model's wearing. I don't like those sleeves, but this one here, which is kind of like a halter string that goes around, and this one that has the ruffled sleeves. So yeah, I got those. And then I worked on a bit of quilting. So for those of you who haven't seen my quilt so far, I'm using the Quilt As You Go Made Modern technique, which is found in this book, Quilt As You Go Made Modern by Jara Brandvig. Let me tell you, she is coming out with an amazing first collection of fabrics called High Tea, and they're due out in August, and I cannot wait to get my hands on them. They have teacups, teapots, and all of my favorite taupey, mauvey, pinky, shabby colors. Love. I was talking with Isabel of Fluffy Fibers podcast and Sarah of the Love Sock Wool podcast, and they're in for buying that fabric too. And we might even have a high tea quilt along when that comes out. So yes, the idea behind this, without giving too much away, so the traditional way to make a quilt is to take the whole entire size of whatever quilt you want to make and cut out the batting that size or purchase it that size. So if you're making a full size, something for a full size bed, or a crib for that matter, a crib size, you buy the crib size batting, it's already that size, and then you just quilt the fabric on as you go. But you have this humongous quilt that you're working with at the sewing machine. So what's nice about this technique is you cut your squares out. You work square by square. So you either use 9.5 inch squares, 9.5 by 9.5, or 12.5 by 12.5. And then you quilt as you go, the modern way, which is what the title of the book is. So if you're doing a log cabin style quilt, you kind of start in the middle and work your way out. And then when you're done quilting, you just trim the edges and make it even, very simply with one of the quilting rulers. And you just trim the edges, and then you sew each square together at the end and bind it off and add your backing and all that stuff. So it's nice because you only have to deal with this moving around at your sewing machine and not an entire humongous quilt. And it's easy to store this way, and it's easy to, I don't know, it just makes you finish. Like I would never stop in the middle of a square, you know? I would just finish the square. So I have a whole stack of squares here. And then I bought some more batting because I really want to make quilts for everybody right now. So this is the batting I get. It's the Pellin Nature's Touch Natural Cotton Batting. And this is the twin size, but I might cut it. I might not make a twin size quilt. But like I said, it's better to have more than not enough. So I just cut my squares out. I kind of fold it so that I can cut 2 layers at a time. And yeah, hopefully this will actually give me a quilt and a half, because I just kind of want throws for the couches for the people I'm making them for, but big enough to cover their whole body. So not really like a throw, but like an Afghan size. You know what I mean? Okay, so I have been working on my Little House on the Prairie quilt, but then got distracted with knitting and podcasting and soap making and sewing and yarn dyeing. You guys, I've discovered that there is not enough time in the day. There really isn't. And I have 2 little children and trying to keep a large house clean, which is very difficult for me. So the struggle is real. I did get 2 squares done. Everything seems to be in squares with crafting, isn't it? So I finished, which one was I working on the last time that I showed you? This one. I finished this one. So what happens now is I lay this flat, I put my 12-inch ruler, quilter's ruler over it, and then I trim the edges, and it will take some of the fabric off, but you can adjust your ruler to make this straight. I hope I'm making sense. I should have brought my ruler out here to show you. But then you quilt out, or you trim all this excess off, and then you have your finished square. And then when you're done with all of your squares, she shows you how to bind them all together. And then when you wash this, so I have line sewed. That's kind of how the log cabin style works. I think I prefer a more flowy quilting print and rather than the lines, but that's kind of what this is all about. So when you wash it and dry it, the batting will fluff up and be really cozy to use as a quilt. So right now it's kind of flat, but I'm excited to get it washed and everything. And then the other one that I did, so this took me about an hour to do 2 12-inch squares, is this one. So I'm trying now to keep, I think the hardest thing with quilting is to keep the colors coordinating with each other. So this jelly roll, which I purchased from Missouri Quilt Company, came with all different colors of Little House on the Prairie fabric. So there are reds, there are blues, there's mustards, blacks, grays, and yellows. Oh, mustards. But at first, I don't know if I have a square to show you here, but at first I was kind of just putting everything together, all the different colors, and I wasn't really happy with how it looked. And I didn't really know how it was supposed to look. But as I went on and looking at her pictures in the book, she kind of shows you how to coordinate your fabrics. So I think I did a little bit better this time. How I have these two fabrics the same, these two are the same, these two are the same, and then the two mustardy color ones are the same. So now I'll trim this off. We'll get some of this fabric off of here, even it up, and then that one will be done. However, there's always a however, I'm putting this on hold again because Father's Day is coming up, and I had this wonderful idea to make my husband a quilt, and it's kind of an inside joke with us because back when I was pregnant with Aiden, before I knew how to sew or knit or anything, I felt like my spirit wanted to learn how to do these things. There was this deep desire to learn how to craft. And I had all the supplies, but I didn't have somebody to teach me. So I was hoarding all of these supplies. They were all in the attic. Quilting supplies, a sewing machine that had never been opened, fabrics. I had embroidery hoops. I didn't even know what they did. Oh gosh, I don't even know. But he always used to say, like, why are you keeping this stuff? And a few things we ended up selling at garage sales, and I had to repurchase them once I learned how to do everything. And YouTube wasn't around then. I'm talking 8-9 years ago, probably 9 years ago now. And if it was, I didn't really know about it. I'm not sure if there were tutorials like there are now. But I went to Joann Fabrics back then, and they had a quilt, like a hand quilt set. It's hard to explain, but it came with basically squares that were already quilted, and you just had to sew them together. And I didn't even know how to sew, like with a needle and thread by hand. My mom didn't sew. She wasn't crafty. My grandma, she probably sewed holes and things like that in her clothing, but I was never taught how to, I was never exposed to that growing up. So I didn't know. I didn't try. And I kept telling Jason, who goes on an annual hunting trip with the guys in his family, that I was going to make this quilt and it would be done in time for him to go hunting. and it still to this day is not done. He calls me 90% Shauna because I start all of these things and I never finish them, and it's still the way I am. But I'm getting better at it, especially now that I'm podcasting, because I want to show them to you and I want to be able to use them. I feel like, what good is a project just sitting in a project bag? So it's kind of an inside joke. He still talks about this quilt that I never made. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to make him. You know what, I didn't even just randomly decide to make him one. I was browsing through quilting fabrics online the other day just to get some ideas for Christmas presents for people. And Moda just came out with a line called Alpine. And it's going to be hard to see because it's still in the jelly roll, but it's by Erin Michael of Moda. And it's hunting themed, you guys. Can it get any better than that? So immediately, yeah, you really can't see much of it at all, but I'm going to try to post a picture of it, of the whole collection, somewhere in here if I remember. If I don't, it's because I didn't remember. But there's like, what do you call it? Topography maps? Is that what it's called when you're looking for land to hunt on? Jason is always looking at maps to see like what's hilly and what's not. There's one with a beautiful landscape with some deer. Let's see, some ponds. What is this one? Some fox, which he sees out there often. Trees, branches, you know, that, just that whole hunting look. A lot of grays and blues, and just, I know he's going to love it. So I'm really, really excited about putting this quilt together for Father's Day, and I'm going to surprise him. He doesn't know that I got this or that I'm making him one, but I figured it would be, I keep looking at the time to make sure that it didn't cut me off. What was I saying? I think he's really going to like it, and the idea is to have it done for Father's Day, which is very close. If it's not done for Father's Day, I will keep it until they go hunting in November. I want him to have it to go hunting this year. I thought it would be a really nice touch, really something special for him to bring with him because he's away from the kids and I for an entire week. That will kind of, I don't know, he can snuggle up with it when he goes to bed each night in the cabin. So I was also thinking of including a center square of the boys' artwork or a message written by Aiden to him about what a great father he is, or something about hunting. I don't know. I'll have Aiden think of something, but I plan to go on spoonflower.com where you can scan your own artwork or pictures or anything, and they'll print it into fabric and mail it to you. So I thought that would be cute. Wouldn't that be cute? Or maybe like paint their handprints, each of their hands on a square. I don't know. In colors to match this. So I bought a jelly roll. So for those of you who don't know, they're 2.5-inch strips by, oh, it doesn't say on here. I believe it's 43 or 44 inches. So they're pretty long. And it includes all the different colors and prints in that whole fabric line. Those run about $37, $38 US. I get mine mostly at MissouriQuiltCompany.com because you earn Quilters Cash every time you purchase something there that you can apply towards a purchase, a future purchase. So that's a bonus. But there's also some on Etsy, and FatQuarterShop.com has a lot of them. This is a mini mini charm pack. My goodness. They're 42 pieces of 2.5-inch squares. And it also has all the alpine fabrics. So I'm going to do that one. So that's one quilt. One quilt down. The other one is for my boys. I would really like to make each of them a small quilt. Not even like, probably like just a throw for each of them. And then in the center of each one, I would like to add a square that says, since I have a brother, I'll always have a friend. Because my mom purchased them a wall decal that says that, and she loved it, and I loved it, and we still haven't gotten it up on the wall. And she passed away in September, and I just really want to incorporate that somehow into something. So I thought it would be nice to add it to their quilt, because I saw this collection online, and I just love this fabric, you guys. It's Riley Blake Designs, called Greatest Adventure, and it's 100% cotton. And I don't know if you can see all the details, but it's all little boys playing. They've got like hero capes on, which my boys run around all the time with capes on, like they're superheroes. Let me see if I can show you a better one of this. Oh, geez. I'm fired. Camping, there's tents. I was thinking of getting a whole yard of this one and making them pillowcases for our camper. And then embroidering their names on them. See all the plans I have in my head? This is why I get nothing done. I start a million projects. Let me just find a couple more to show you, because this fabric is just too adorable, honestly. Let's see. They're just like playing outside themes, teepees. And then there's those prints in each color. So I decided to get this layer cake. Layer cakes are 10-inch squares with the whole collection, because I feel like with patterns like this, you really want to see the whole design. I feel like if it was a strip, these little kids might get cut out, you know, or you won't get to see all the important things. So maybe I'll do like triangles, a triangle kind of pattern. I don't know, I'm going to look through the quilting book and see. But then I also found this at Joann Fabrics, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and it's navy blue. So I thought I might incorporate that in as well, because we always sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star before bed together. So the colors match perfectly, and that's my plan. I'm almost done. I'm sorry, this is a longer episode. It's been a while. I have a lot to show you. This one is going to be for my sister-in-law and brother-in-law. Her style is very primitive, country primitive, reds, olive greens, plums, navy blues, you know, that primitive look. And I saw that Moda has, Primitive Gatherings for Moda has one called Homestead Gatherings, and some of the fabrics on here say there's no place like home. Just a really pretty collection of primitive themed fabrics. So it's really hard to show you these, I'm sorry. And then I also got a jelly roll in the same. So this is a charm pack. These are 5-inch squares. This is the jelly roll. And then I showed you the mini charm pack that I got in Alpine is 2.5-inch. Peanut's back, biting my finger. And then I got this to make for us. This will probably be on the back burner because the last time I showed you quilting fabric that I bought for my other brother and sister-in-law, I forgot what the collection's called, but I still haven't dug into that. I have a lot of quilts to make. I'm starting to freak out. This is Quilter's Garden by Lynette Anderson Designs, and it's she calls her layer cakes patty cakes, which is super cute, but they're 10 by 10 cuts, and there's 40 pieces, and this is kind of a primitive look too, but I really loved the homey feel there's little birds outside, there are quilts hanging on lines outside, and I really love the colors. Let's see. Yeah, so there's grays. Oh, I love that. Yep. One of these says, it's very hard to see, but in small print it says, cats, family, love, laughter, kisses, dogs, trees, flowers, bees, hope, children. It was perfect. I had to get it. This is totally my style. Let's see. Yeah, very pretty. So I'm done buying quilting fabric for a while. I say that now, but I actually bought some more quilting fabric this morning. While I was in bed, I just went onto Etsy and bought a really, really shabby, pretty. Now Peanut is messing with the microphone cord that's plugged in. Stop it! Yes. And that's about it. I'm almost done. But they sent me, Missouri Star Quilt Company sent me this really pretty Bloom and Grow quilt pattern with my purchase that I made, and then this really cute sewing case that I can keep in my purse. And it includes all the emergency sewing things. So that was nice. I always enjoy free prizes. Is that it? Is that it, Peanut? What do you think? Hey, are we done? I think we're done. So, thank you for hanging out with me and my crazy kitty today. Thank you for your patience. If you ordered a bag or yarn from me, it is on its way for the Stitching for a Cause stitch along. Please join, even if you're just going to knit or crochet a tiny little ornament. It's just to inspire each other, to get ideas from each other. Just make something for that special someone that that they may enjoy. And just the fact that it's made out of yarn that's the color of the Cancer ribbon will be very special. I had one customer purchase 7 skeins of the same color because she wanted to make something for her sisters and, you know, different members of her family for that loved one that went through cancer. So very special. I think it'll be a really, really inspiring stitch along, and it'll bring a lot of people together. So definitely check it out in the Ravelry group. And yeah, I'll be announcing winners for the Trailing Ivy knit along. It closes on the 31st of May at midnight. So I'll pick a winner from the finished object thread. So if you have your shawl completed, don't forget to post it in the finished object thread before then. And I'm going to use the random number generator to pick a winner, and I'll announce it on the next podcast, so make sure you're watching. So yeah, until the next episode, I will wish you all a happy, healthy, crafty week or two ahead.